Winning is not everything, but making the effort to win is. Hello everyone and welcome to the Athlete Podcast, sponsored by Sports for Champions. Today I'm here with Birmingham City football player Martha Harris. How are you today, Martha?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. So I suppose we'd like to start from the beginning. Did you have a very sporty family growing up?
Yeah, I did. So my dad was a coach and my eldest sister also played football. Then I have a twin sister who played with me growing up through school. And then my youngest brother, who's 3 years younger, he was at the same centre of excellence, but obviously the boys' side. And yeah, he played football up until he was about 21. And he went and played in Sweden. And obviously, yeah, I think our dad kind of got us into it and we all just loved it from the start.
That's really good. So it's been like a big part of your life, like from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Did you have any athletes you looked up to when you was younger?
I think when I was younger, I probably looked up to the likes of Farrell Williams, Kelly Smith. They obviously were England women's football players. And yeah, they were just, at that time, I played up front and they were just probably the best players. So I just really liked them.
Were you noticeably athletic?
I think so, yeah. I think as I got older, obviously, like as a kid, your weight goes up and down and stuff, but I've always worked hard to try and be fit. And yeah, I think the older I've got, probably the more athletic I've got, which is probably due to training and right diet and lifestyle, really.
Yeah. Did you join any football teams when you was in school?
Yeah, so my school, in primary school, there wasn't a girls' football team, and in secondary school, growing up, from year 7 to 11, we actually had a really good girls' team, and we got to like the national schools final, and yeah, it was good because, I mean, the competition from other schools wasn't great because there wasn't that many girls that played football, but our school was quite good, so that was nice.
What were the next steps when you left school? Like, could you tell you was going to like make it big?
So I finished school and then I went to college and did a sports course, which allowed me to also play football at the same time, so I could have the education, and then on a Wednesday we had the day off to go and play matches. And then from that I went to university and did a sports development course when I joined Liverpool Ladies, and both my uni and football team kind of let me do what I needed to do to make sure I could achieve my full potential in both.
Tell me more about Liverpool Ladies. Was it like a big step up from obviously like playing in school and then like going uni and then? Yeah,
definitely. I think it was just when the Super League first came around, so it was the first time you could actually be professional as a women's player. So I was quite surprised that I got that opportunity my first year, kind of leaving the schools and everything like that. But yeah, it was obviously, I love football, I wanted to do that as my job, and I was lucky to kind of fall into that at the right time.
What was the steepest learning curve joining professional outfit?
I think because I was at uni as well, I really had to manage my time properly, and obviously I was only 18, I moved away from home and I was living in a player house, so I was having to cook for myself, clean for myself. Like, I'd never lived in a city before, so I think a whole like lifestyle change was really big at that time as well for me.
Yeah, it'd be hard. From Liverpool Ladies, did you move to Manchester United?
Yeah, so I was at Liverpool I think for 4 years, and it just got to a point where I felt like I kind of overgrew the club, and a lot of the girls were moving on as well, and Manchester United was starting their first women's team, but it was the league below, so it was a bit of a risk to kind of drop to the championship because I'd been playing in the top league, but I knew the manager and I knew a lot of girls were going there, so I thought we'd be successful, and I went there and we won that season. We got promoted straight away, so it was worth it. And then I was at Man United for 4 years as well.
Do you have any favourite memories playing for United?
I think probably getting promoted. I think we went on quite a consistent run, and we got promoted quite early on. So yeah, the celebrations for that were probably my favourite.
You obviously spend like a lot of your time like playing football. Is anything like your biggest sacrifice you've had to make?
I think as a footballer, obviously, like the weekend's probably the most important, and that's when a lot of family events or your friends are having parties or kind of going out, or you have to miss certain things because of football. But feel like it's just part of being a footballer. You have to make them sacrifices because you want to be the best and perform as well as you can all the time.
Yeah, if you love it, then you're going to stay. Like, do you have anything that keeps you motivated to?
I think just trying to be the best, like you said. Obviously, as a footballer as well, you are kind of playing and training to be in that 11, like the match day squad. So obviously you can train all week, but you do want to be on the pitch on the weekend. So I think for me personally, I try and train hard and work hard throughout the week to get the rewards by being selected for the squad on the Sunday.
Do you have any biggest achievements?
So growing up, obviously when I first went to Liverpool my first year, I won Players Player of the Year there, and then I also won the first ever PFA Young Player of the Year. So that was out of all the league, and that was voted by all the girls in the league. So that was quite nice to be noticed in my first year. I was only 17, 18 at the time, and it's my first year playing professional football, so it's quite a big achievement for me.
Yeah, that is really good. Do you have any like pre-game rituals or like a pre-game meal?
So randomly, I don't know why, I've always done it. I always put my left boot and left shin pad in first, and then before a game I'll always have a Weetabix and just like chicken and pasta usually.
What do you think is the most important quality for a successful footballer?
I think you've just got to be hard working. I'd probably say that's the most, and doing the right things both on and off the pitch, because if you're only doing the right things at football, you're only there a little amount of time, whereas at home obviously you need to make sure you're sleeping right, recovering right, eating well. I think all that kind of ties into being an elite athlete.
I think we touched on it earlier, like who you looked up to, but do you have like a all-time like favourite sporting hero? It doesn't have to be like in football.
I'd probably say Farah Williams, just because I always looked up to her growing up, and then I played with her at Liverpool, and she was one of the older players there, and I was obviously one of the youngest, and she kind of looked out for me, and she would do extras with me and just kind of like chat to me and help me understand what it meant to be a professional footballer.
Do you have a favourite sporting quote?
I like everything happens for a reason. Some people don't really think it's that sporty, but I think, like, for me personally, I've had a lot of injuries over the years, and I think for me I just look at that to be like there's a reason why I'm getting injured, and it's kind of to build the resilience and to make me stronger and more determined to get back on the pitch.
So you just said about your injuries. Was that like your hardest part of like becoming a professional football player, or like the most difficult part? Yeah,
definitely. I think like in any sports there's always the risk of getting injured, and like no one wants to be injured. It's not a nice time, but you kind of know it's part of parcel being a footballer. But yeah, obviously like injuries can range from 2 weeks to 2-3 months, and I think the longer the injury the worse it is, but you just have to focus on getting back fit and healthy, and like mentally it can be hard at times because you just want to be playing football and you can't, but you kind of have your teammates and the staff, the physio, to keep you motivated.
Yeah, how was the recovery for that?
I think this one with my knee's been quite easy in a sense of I've had injuries in the past, so I know how to deal with it better personally. But I think it's been hard in terms of how my recovery went at the club, and it was probably a bit longer than what it needed to be, but I'm back fit and playing now, so that's all that matters.
Do you think the life of an athlete is tough compared to other professions?
Yeah, I think like probably any job you have challenges. I think it's hard because, like you said earlier, you have to make a lot of sacrifices, and it can be quite, if you're not winning or if your team aren't doing well, you're kind of emotionally not probably in a great place. But I think you have your teammates. It's part of being like a team sport. That's why I enjoy it so much, because you have your teammates who become like friends, and you're kind of like a little family who help each other through the tougher times.
How many days are you training a week with them?
So we have Monday and Thursday off, and then we train Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, we have a little session on Saturday and then game Sunday, and that involves 2 weight sessions as well, so it is quite full on, but it is worth it.
Yeah, it's like a lot of time. Like, how do you make like practice fun? Because obviously you're there like most of the week.
Yeah, I think the fact we've got a good squad and everyone gets on really well, and the staff, they kind of know us as players, so they know when to have a bit of a joke with us if they think we're all a bit stressed or it's too full on, and they can put the fun into the session. But also obviously if it's an important game or big week for us, it's very much like how to make us all focused.
Do you listen to any music like prior to a game?
I actually can listen to any type of music. Like, a lot of the girls before have to have something really upbeat on, whereas I could literally be in the car listening to like Ed Sheeran on the way to a game. It doesn't really affect me either way, but in the change room it's always very lively, and everyone's just like dancing and getting into it.
So there's like 2 extremes. You have people say like, oh, listen to really upbeat music, or like stuff like calm them down.
Yeah, I really can listen to either.
What is the one thing you always do after a good performance?
I'll always watch my game back usually, because I like to just see how I've done, and then I can kind of put that game to bed. But yeah, usually after a game I'll always like treat myself and probably have like a cheat meal or something. Yeah,
is your diet like quite strict? You keep to it like most of the, like obviously before you're playing?
Yeah, like so through the week I probably try and eat, I say I always do like a 80, like 20, 90, 10 diet, where I try to eat good the majority of the time. But I think obviously like everyone's human, everyone likes a bit of chocolate now and then, like it's not going to harm you or affect your performance. I think like I work hard every day, so if I want to treat myself I will.
What do you do to calm your butterflies before a game?
I think obviously the older I've got and the more games I've played in quite a lot of important games as well, so I think you just have to try and stay focused. I try not to let the occasion get too big in my head. I think I'm quite a chilled person in life anyway, so I just try and stay focused and just go out on the pitch and do as best I can without putting pressure on myself.
Yeah, like you said, like everything happens for a reason, so if you don't win, then you don't win. Do you think being an athlete makes you a better person?
I'd like to think so, I think like obviously now as an athlete, as a female footballer, I feel a bit of like a responsibility to be a role model, because there's so many young girls like who aspire to be that, and I've got 2 nieces that are really getting into football now, so for me I want them to have, which they do, have people to look up to.
Yeah, it's like you're like a good like person to look up to, because obviously there's like a lot of resilience and like, you know, I don't know what I'm saying. Do you have any advice to young people who want to start a career in sport?
I think the main thing is like you just have to enjoy it and work hard. I think if you do both of them, you'll go far. I think you can't take it too seriously, or you know, like you need to see there is also fun in it. It is like you do want to be the best, but the only way you'll do that is if you enjoy it as well.
I think that was a good note to end it on, Martha. Thank you so much for joining us, and thanks everyone at home for joining us too.
Thank you.